Akim, your brother Rise of Allah from GMSLondon camp. First and foremost, give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honours unto the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone, and blessings unto the hopeful elect runner four winds. Shalom, man. Just a quick article in regards to the border control situation down there, Tijuana, Mexico. And Jake from the tribe of Issachar, and you got some Guatemalans, if I'm not mistaken, that are mixed among them. Jakes as well, from the tribe of Zebulon, trying to make their way to the American shores. And Esau is basically saying they're going to enforce lethal force now, man, taking it to the next level, next stage, because we're at the end of this place, this society, this wicked system known as Babylon the Great, the American Empire, man. It's crumbling from within, and these things, that these insurrections and these austerity measures that these devils, this so-called white man Esau is the devil, the Bible is going to enforce on Jake. Part of Jacob's trouble is coming to that climax stage, man. This is a quick article. I'm not going to stay talking too long. It's zerohedge.com. It says White House authorizes lethal force at the border. I don't know if it's 100% or not, but it said from Tuesday that's what they did. From President Trump, it says Chief of Staff John Kelly signed a memo late Tuesday allowing troops stationed at the border to act in law enforcement, which they did in capacity, and to use lethal force. So if they're allowed to use lethal force now, that means it's coming to that next stage, man. And Jake's gonna start getting gunned down by these devils, because the so-called white man's your enemies, your natural born enemy from the womb to the tomb, man. And he's going to show you that in these last days, man. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the Israelites of the Bible, man. Whether you hear or forbear, and 2/3 of you are going to get caught up in the madness, because you basically forbear the word of the Lord, man. He put out his hand to you, to Jake, by way of his men, starting with the presbytery, the elders and apostles of GreatMillStone. We've got this 100% truth, and the men on down in the various camps that are pushing only the 100% truth. That's part of the hopeful elect. And 2/3 of you rejected the Lord's hand, man. So in turn, the Lord said, like he says in Proverbs, the 1st chapter, he's going to reject you because you rejected knowledge, man. And he's going to laugh when your calamity hits. But mainly just to say that, we're coming to that climax point, man. And there's no coinky-dink that these devils, just last week, DHS just purchased, 50,000 RFID chip biohacking microchips, man, which is the mark of the beast. Why? Because they're probably going to use that as a control mechanism to control Jake, to if it gets too violent or whatever, and when shit hits the fan and all that, next measures is, if you want to get into America, past the border, you're gonna have to take this chip so we can track you, man, and know your whereabouts, man. And so it's no coinky-dink, no coincidence that these devils are taking it there right now, because we're at the end of this thing, man. We're at the end of this thing. So it says if necessary, according to Tara Cott of Military Times. Man, these devils are bugged out, man. Anyway, it says the new cabinet order was signed by White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, not President Trump. So it allows the Department of Defense military personnel to perform those military protective activities that the Secretary of Defense determines are reasonably necessary. And this is going into that time of martial law, man. Because in the time of martial law, it's going to be a war type law. That goes in, that the Department of the Defense military, and they're going to start going in you, Jakes, man. It's not going to be no holding back. Scriptures talks about sedition amongst men, man, because it's going to get to that stage. The talking's going to stop, man, and things are just going to get way too physical, to the point of it's life and death situations, man. And plus, there's going to be famines out here in the streets, pestilences raging, animals, all kind of wild animals out there, ready to, tear people's asses, give them a new a-hole, so to speak. It's gonna get gory, man. As I keep saying, it's gonna be the worst horror movie ever seen on in the living reality, man. The American dream's gonna go from American dream to an American nightmare in a split second, man. And it's beautiful, because this is what the men of the Lord have been patiently waiting for, man. The demise and downfall of this wicked ass society. It says it's reasonable, necessary. It says to protect the border agents, including the show or use of force, including lethal force where necessary. Which that's the main objective, man, because they want to cut Jake down, by the thousands, by the millions, man. Look at that Georgia Guidestone. They want to, cut populations down to 500 million, man. So Esau is definitely, trying to enforce this new world order to the higher spectrum, man, where it's going to be disannulled anyway. He's only going to get but so far before the Lord, that the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua pulls the plug on his ass for good, man, once and for all. It says, where necessary, crowd control, temporary detention, and cursory search. See, so temporary detention is talking about them concentration camps, man. And these devils got all those things locked, stocked, and barreled, man, ready to be used on you jakes, man. Crowd control is basically talking about gunning you jakes down, man, and arresting you without warrant, you know, hemming you up and just putting you in a concentration camp and force you to take that chip, man. And if you don't, you're going to be beheaded, you know. And if you do, the Most High is going to kill you anyway, you know. It says, Kelly said it said in the signed directive that the additional authorities were necessary because credible evidence and intelligence have indicated that the thousands of migrants who have now made their way to the US checkpoint near Tijuana, Mexico, may prompt incidents of violence and disorder, and could threaten border officials military terms, says. But you know, Esau's got his, you know, this is an order of chaos situation, man. He's got his you know, agents out there to, you know, enforce this agent provocateurs if needs be to, you know, antagonize the situation for Jake to get smoked out there, which, you know, is going to happen eventually anyway. So approximately 5,000 active duty troops were deployed on the southern US border, along with 2,100 National Guard to reinforce the border and bolster enforcement efforts. And thousands of asylum seekers from Central America arrive in Tijuana, Mexico, in hopes of pushing into the US. This is the Trump administration move may raise concerns over the 1878 Posse Comitatus Act, which that was supposed to destabilize any type of martial law, you know, that Posse Comitatus, but that's going to be done away with, man, you know, because Esau's trying to establish his new world order. He's going to do away with that, and he's going to establish a war type law, martial law, aka Jacob's trouble, man. It's coming, man. So it prohibits the use of federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the US, which they're doing, man. And Esau ain't holding back. This is the so-called white man, the devil that we're talking about, man. The same man that enslaved us for 400 years over there in the Americas, man. You know, and it's still in his hands into this day, man. You know, as it tells you in the book of Baruch. Yet this day we're still in our captivity, man. Anyway, I'm just going to read one scripture and then close out. Brothers know, you know, these scriptures anyway. You know, 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. We call it the martial law scriptures, you know, amongst other things. It's the 2nd Ezra 15, straight to the point. Verse 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men. It says, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. And that's the stage that we're coming to now, man. It's the next stage of the biblical prophecies are coming to the end of this empire, man. And things are going to start getting more and more physical and more carnal, man. Especially these devils, man. They're going to show their true haunts. See, because they know they ain't got a lot of time left, you know. It says in the course of their actions, stuff standing in their power. Yeah, so there's going to be a war type law out here, and it's going to be lawless, man. Jacob going to be going buck wild. These heathens going to be getting buck wild, getting chased down. You know, Esau said in scriptures, it says Esau's going to be as the chase row. It's going to get to that point where everyone's going to be looking for Esau's heads, man. So that's why it said in regard no kings, no princes, neither the authorities, man. Border control, all of that, military troops and all that, they're not going to be regarded in these last days, man. And people are just going to be doing as they please, because, you know, for the want of all things, especially that bread, time of famine and economic collapse. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's what you're seeing right now on a small scale. Where it's going to expand, man. It's going to get worse, man. You know, where people are going to be forcing themselves on the, you know, on the military, and the military are going to be forcing themselves on them. You know, it's going to get real bad out here, man. It's going to turn into a blood sport for real. You know, real gory. And it says for the because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. And that's what it's coming to, man. That climax, man. That, you know, that all out what's the word, man? Anarchy in the streets. You know, blood for blood. So because they were because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You know, it says in the 2nd Ezra, I think 16, and I think it's verse 37, if I'm not mistaken. You know, about the plagues of the Lord, and in the book of Jeremiah, it talks about men being as women, man. You know, being astonished and afraid, man. You know, men being afraid. Mighty men are going to be, you know, weeping like bitches in that day. For real, literally, man. It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. It says, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. So this is what's coming, man. It's not a joke, it's not a game. It's time to get serious, man. Things are coming to that final stage, as I said, that climax. And you know, Esau is going to show his horns, man. I don't know, that's going to be the name of this video, man. You know, Lord willing, you know, Esau is going to show his horns that he's the true devil that the Bible speaks of, man, and why he's always had that perpetual hatred for you Jakes out there, man. And only the men of the Lord are going to be able to withstand, because they're going to have the, you know, you know, those angels encamped around them, man, as the scripture says, man, to protect them from these times and tribulations that are coming. But you know, the hour of temptation is coming still upon all men on the surface of this earth. You know, for the men that's not going to take the chip, and the men that's not going to take the chip, man, the mark of the beast. So that's the final test, man. But Esau's done, man. He's finished. As I always keep saying, he's done. He's well cooked. Stick a fork in him. His empire's finished, man. It's beautiful to see it crumble before our eyes, man. As scriptures also say, you know, it's a blessing to see the fall of your enemies, man. Blessed is he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. So anyway, I'm going to close out with that. Give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakudash. Until next time, I say Shalom.